Hello, my name is Deborah. This is my presentation, and these are the people that are watching with me. So this is everyone. Hello, just an extra over there. So my presentation today is the big question I feel like that's appearing for everyone right now is if we can save the planet from climate change. I feel like it's very relevant right now just because of the time that we're at. There's a lot of people speaking out about it, but I feel like it's something that we can all talk about. So I feel like the first question, I feel like the first main question that we should I'm gonna ask you right now is if we think that climate change is real. And I really do hope that everyone says yes on this because there's a lot of facts and evidence that show that climate change is real. So the different things that do show that climate change is real is the different temperatures. If you haven't noticed, sometimes when you wake up in the morning, it is probably 40 degrees. By the middle of the day, it's 70, and then it's 30 by the end of the day. If there's a super short amount of time, and it changes really fast, which is irregular, and that's not okay. The oceans are actually heating up really, really fast. If you think it's hot on Earth, it's actually 3 times as hot in the water, and that's because water absorbs a lot of heat. So that's why it's pretty hot, and it's so hot that it's starting to melt the ice caps up in the northern hemisphere, which is a concern. Just because we have animals up there, there are ecosystems up there that we develop, that we need to move along forward. So if they start to fail, then we start to fail as a civilization. So it has also been reported by NASA's study team is that Greenland alone has lost 286 billion tons of ice per year. That's just up in the northern hemisphere, just one little country that's up there. Antarctica, which is on the opposite side, obviously, is 121 billion tons of ice per year that they're losing. And that's within a decade, that's a lot of ice that we are losing. It's actually triple the amount of ice mass that they're losing, so it's a really big deal. The sea levels also have been rising, which are causing a lot of the natural events that are happening on Earth, like hurricanes, tornadoes. If you notice, sometimes when it rains, it's a lot of rain that's pouring down. And like before, like I said, the temperatures are either rising or they're decreasing really fast, and that's a concern. I know that's very overwhelming, right? That's a lot to handle, talking about there's different issues that seems like it's all out of our control. And that scares us as people. Things that aren't in our control, that scares us. So I feel like a big question that we all have to talk about is, how can we fix it? How can we fix the issue? There are a lot of different ways that we are able to fix it. Starting off with renewable energy. If we were to start using houses and start putting in energy efficient appliances, we will be able to save 2.3 billion tons of energy. And if you need like a scale of how much that is, that's actually 440 million cars being used. So if we were to just, let's say, switch a blender to a energy efficient one, or a microwave that's energy efficient, we will be helping out not just ourselves, but everyone in general, moving on with generations and decades. Another one is water waste. I definitely have a tendency sometimes of letting the water run when I'm brushing my teeth. Or like if I see that there's a water fountain running or something like that, it's definitely important to let it stop, turn it off. Because we literally waste probably about not even 800 tons of water go to waste because people don't turn off their waters. Food is actually also another waste that we don't recognize. We put out 10% of US's energy is coming towards from the food that we put out. So it goes from processing, growing, packaging, all that stuff. So if we're putting in 10%, you're expecting 10% out. But it's actually 40% of that food that's going to landfills. So it's 4 times of the output that's actually going out. Also, another way that we can save food and stuff like that is actually, people don't realize it, but actually the vegans are saving the world. It's actually, if you don't, there's a way for you to save the spread of carbon footprint is if you don't eat meat. Eating meat really stops the transportation of animals going back and forth. Also, light bulbs. People don't realize it, but we have the 60-watt light bulbs, and they actually take up a lot of energy. If we were to use a 10-watt LED light bulb, not only will it last longer, save energy, but it'll actually save you $125 per month on your light bill. So it'll actually help a lot. And also fuel efficient stuff. Oh, we missed one plug, the plug. So basically, in the household, we use up to about 65 devices that are always plugged in all the time. And we don't realize it, but even if it's just plugged in, if it's not on, we're still using energy, and that goes out into the earth. So if you ever see something that's simply on, and it's not plugged in, turn it off and unplug it, because you're saving energy that way as well. Also, being fuel efficient. Some people don't realize it, but there's a lot of electric cars out there that are being produced. So it's pretty expensive, but there are different ways to save up on that, like maybe carpooling. Sometimes taking the bus helps. But even right now, they're seeing that a lot of people are using the buses and stuff like that. So taking, let's say, like electric scooters do help as well, or even walking helps as well. And lastly, the most important thing is to speak up about it. If you see things that happen, if you see a fountain that's running a lot of water, or you see someone littering, or you see waste going or devices on, go and do something about it. Go tell that person to turn it off. Go turn off the water yourself. It's very important, just because we honestly have 12 years on this earth to fix the issue that we have going on right now. So it's very important, or else it starts to affect us and the generations ahead of us. So we have to make sure that we work together. And it's very corny to say, but teamwork makes the dream work. So we have to make sure that we work together as one. So that is my presentation. Is there any questions that we would like to ask? Yes, Kanye.
All right. So how do we know is humans causing the climate change? Are there any studies to back it up?
Yeah, there is studies to back it up. There's actually a study from, I have actually written down, it was from the Natural Resources Defensive Council, and they were talking about the increase of the carbon dioxide has been increasing. It's actually been off the charts just within a year span. I think it has gone up 56%, which is 3 times that has been within the past 2 decades. So that's a lot of carbon dioxide going into the air. Yes.
I was going to say, through your research, what's the difference between climate change and global warming?
They're actually kind of like the same thing in a way, just because what you're causing, global warming, is kind of like the water waste. It's the waste that you're putting out. The climate change is what's actually happening to the climate. So the temperature's changing. Yeah, like a cause and effect type thing. So if it happens where it's raining too much, it's because it's not raining somewhere else. So it's more of everyone has to, like I said before, work together to kind of prevent that for everyone else.
Kind of like the snow in Egypt?
Basically. Snow in Egypt, yes.
So you could have picked anything for this. Why did you go with climate change?
Because, like I said before in the beginning, it's a topic that I feel like affects all of us, and I feel like we need to become aware of the issues that are happening now, because just as much as we are here in a little bubble of Alfred, we forget about the things that are happening globally that we don't seem to realize. So we have to be aware of the things and be able to prevent the different ways of causing more of the carbon footprint, carbon dioxide into the world. Yeah. All right. Thank you guys.